Alright everyone, today we're going to take another look at one of the champions in the game, Doompriest to be exact. If you pulled her early in your journey in Raid, then hey, congratulations. She is absolutely fantastic, very straightforward champion that is going to be a backbone of a lot of compositions that you're going to run. She's also part of a lot of compositions that are dealing with the Clanboss and are helping you to progress there. We're going to go over why exactly that is, what you should build her with, where to use her, and what her strengths are. So let's jump straight in. Doompriest is a Knight's Revenant champion, is a Force champion too, has an aura that she comes with as well, where you increase your speed in all battles by 15%. Now, don't get me wrong, this is an epic champion, so the aura is not really the strongest. It is one that applies in all dungeons though. So depending on where exactly you are in your raid journey, this might actually become quite useful. You could use her obviously in also some of the more restricted sections of the game, if we're talking Grim Forest, if we're talking about Cursed City, when there are some special stages, or even in some of the secret rooms in the Doom Tower, you could use her there as well, and she's just generally a good champion to have on your side. Now, the most important thing about her is her passive. This is what you want to trigger as often as you can. Every single time the Doompriest gets a turn, not only does she heal all the allies, but she also removes one random debuff from them at the start of the turn. Which means that if you're in a situation, for example, where you're trying to put a team composition together against the clan boss, this is something that can help you to cleanse out that stun that the clan boss applies if you don't have a block debuffs yet on your team. So she is part of a lot of budget compositions when we're talking about extra damage against the clan boss. She's a great asset to have there and is really going to be useful also essentially everywhere else. If you're going against the spider, all those poison debuffs, if you get her fast, if you get her in Relentless, she is going to be able to just cleanse out a lot of those debuffers. That helps you against another spider as well in the Doom Tower. It helps you basically everywhere in the game. Now, as you progress, you're going to get more and more champions that might just be a little bit better, especially when we're talking about all of the legendaries that you're going to get along your journey. But keep in mind that this is something you don't even have to book. So for the passive, there's no books and nothing required. We still have then her A2, where you need a single book in order to get that done. And it's just a straight up increased attack buff. Now, not the craziest thing in the world, but again, you're getting a free buff right there. You have a 3-turn cooldown. She only needs one book for it on her A1. Doesn't knock anybody's socks off. It's an A1. You'd play her for the passive. All you want for her from her at the end of the day is maybe the increased attack that helps you against the clan boss too if you don't have it yet on your side. And you want to have that passive. This is really what makes her so powerful. It looks initially a little bit underwhelming, but you will very quickly see that once that you start playing with her, if you build her properly, she is going to help your team a lot. Now, as I already said before, if you're in the late game, you're not going to use her as much any longer. You might be using her in Faction Wars, for example, and you might be using her against some special bosses where you really need to have that cleanse ready every single time that she gets her turn. But of course, once that you are getting a huge lineup of legendary support champions, there will be some that do her job a little bit better. Maybe you have a lot of block debuffs as well on your side, but especially an early pull on Doompriest in the game is going to be a massive advantage for you and is really going to help you. So let's take a quick look on how exactly to build her and what kind of options you have. So my Doompriest, as you can see, has actually quite a few 5-star items still. So exactly what I explained earlier has happened here. I have by now so many legendary champions and supports that I don't need her anymore. But she helped me a lot in the early stages of my account and was really useful there. The priority when we're talking about the stats just in general is, of course, you want her with a lot of HP. You want her to survive. She needs to be fast and she needs to survive. Those are your two priorities. Everything else is honestly not all that important. At the beginning, 245 speed was quite powerful. These days, when I look at it, you know, you want to get her to like 280 to maybe 300, but you want her in some gear set that allows her to also just get more additional turns in. And this is really where Relentless comes into play, so make sure that you check those tournaments out and try and place high up in them. But then you have essentially just all defense-based, hit point-based, and looking for speed as a substat that you can then also obviously boost with your glyphs. But she just needs to be fast, and you want to get a lot of turns out of her. So Relentless is one of the obvious choices. Outside of that, you want her in speed, and you just want to make sure that she gets that turn as quickly as possible and as often as possible, so that you remove debuffs on your own side and you heal your team out as well. When we're looking at the masteries, that's also going to be a little bit reflected over here. Honestly, when we're talking about the support tree, you want to go for the heals. Law of Steel was something that was still important to me, and I also decided that on this end at least I would go into Evil Eye just so I get a little bit more control. Damage isn't something that you need her to do. It's a lot more beneficial to go down the defense tree, so you're not going to look for offense. But you can, for example, also go for the counter attack right here, which would be something that I would invest now immediately. As you see, I don't have full scrolls on her, but going for deterrence is of course another big step, because what you want at the end of the day is make sure that she gets counter attacks in as well. You have a couple more options when it comes to speed. I mean, honestly, I really think that just survival alone is all that you really need with her. So go for the defense tree, go for the support tree, try and boost the heals a little bit. You're her own max HP, of course, the heals that you're throwing out with the healing savior. But she is, generally speaking, a champion that doesn't really need a whole lot, even when it comes to masteries. I'm totally okay if somebody runs her without going full masteries. Usually I'm the first one to preach that you should go for masteries very, very quickly with their champions, because especially on damage champions, going down the damage tree, the attack tree is just like super useful. For her, not really needed all that much. On the blessing side, I went into Miracle Heal over here. I mean, honestly, blessing for her, you can really argue a little bit about what you want to go for. What I took it mainly for the stats, I have to admit. There's a couple of things where you can give her more survivability, I suppose, but given that she's extremely easy to build, because you don't need to hit 100% crit rate plus accuracy plus this plus that, you just need her fast and basically just tanky. So she's super easy to build, which is one of the reasons why she's just such an impactful champion on an early game account, because there are no crazy requirements on how to deal with her. So this basically explains Doompriest, again, one of the most forward champions that you have. Might be one of those that is slumbering in a vault somewhere right now because you didn't realize how she could be utilized. But if you have her, make sure to build her. She's going to help you in a lot of areas, especially when you're dealing with a lot of debuffs, and also gives you that additional heal, which is obviously quite powerful too. So again, if you have her, congratulations, and I hope that you get quite a lot of value out of her. If you have any questions or anything that you would like to add, any other approaches to how to build her and what to do with her, feel free to drop a comment into the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope this helped, and I'm going to see you in the next one.